All right, and we are back, and ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute honor to sit down with the legend of BTR, Camille Conrad. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Listen, the honor is absolutely all mine. It was an absolute honor to finally meet you at VIR, and we had a great conversation. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah,
So
I'm
listen,
excited to kind of pick up where we left off and talk shop.
yeah, me too, Camille. So listen, we have a lot to talk about, and I always started off with the same question to everybody: where did your journey begin on this beautiful twos?
I feel like I had a little like some fits and like stops and starts, if that makes sense. I first of all, I was forbidden from getting on the back of a motorcycle growing up as a kid. I didn't no one in my family rode, and my first time ever on a bike was happenstance. Actually, I was waitressing at this little restaurant called Lake Alpine up by my hometown in Northern California. It's off the beaten path. It's on Highway 4. And I was waiting on this table, and it was a group that was shooting a Kawasaki commercial over Ebbets Pass on motorcycles. And they asked me if I wanted to be a part of it the following day. And I was like, absolutely. So the next day I shot with them and hopped on the back. And Highway 4 in Ebbets Pass is like really windy, mountainous pass. And I remember the driver was dragging the pegs when we were finished, and it was like sparking, and it was just so thrilling for me. So that was my first time ever on a bike. I was 19 and was really excited about that. And I had an affinity for him, but I didn't know where to get started. And then I was living in LA, signed up for a rider safety intro with Harley Davidson, and got my endorsement to ride there, but still didn't know anything about bikes. I was 25 when I did that. I didn't know anything about bike sizes. I was really intimidated to like go into a shop. I didn't know really anything. And so I didn't ride until I was in my 30s. Anyway, it like I said, bunch of like stops and starts. But essentially what happened was I was on a ride with a friend of mine on 89 in Tahoe when I collided with a deer. I was on her Harley Fat Bob, and I was going maybe 70. And what was crazy about it was I had had some close calls before on the street, but I could always attribute it to pilot error. My attention had lapsed for a moment. I looked off, whatever. But in this particular circumstance, I was in command of the vehicle. I was paying attention, and there was absolutely nothing I could do. I saw it out of my periphery and just had enough time to calculate that there was going to be an impact, and that was it. And I wasn't wearing any safety gear. I had a full face helmet on and like a fashion leather jacket. And somehow, miraculously, I was fine. The deer jumped into my leg, wrapped around the front of the bike, and flew off. The bike didn't go down. But what happened was, my mom always said, it's not you, it's the other driver. And I was like, yeah, but like I'll have time to respond if, Tammy texts and swerves in front of me. I'll have time to respond. But in that deer moment, I just realized that there was I didn't have a choice. And so what that did was it took me off the street and brought me to the track, because after that incident I vowed never to ride on the street again. It's just, for me, there's so many uncontrolled variables that I wasn't cognizant of before, and it just sort of reframed my place in the scheme of things when it comes to street riding. So anyway, that pulled me off. I started going to the track. And once I kind of made the commitment to develop my skill track riding, I got a lot of opportunity to ride more and more.
Yeah, absolutely. Hitting a deer is no fun. Been there and done that on the street. It's not something anybody. It's one of those things that it's never going to happen to me.
Right. Right.
Until it happens to you, right? Mike Tyson said it the best. You do all this all you want to, you get punched in the mouth, and the shit changes real quick, And
100%, yeah.
yeah, and then you're intimidated. Street has a lot of variables that the track don't have. Absolutely, and I'm big on the whole peripheral side of things. Even at
Mm-hmm.
the track, it's awareness, right? Awareness of what's going on around you, who's around you, where you're at, and all that good stuff that goes along with it. But getting hit with it by deer is no fun at all, because you have no control of the situation. You're just, oh shit,
Yeah.
and that's it. It's
Sitting duck. It was
yeah,
the weirdest thing too. I kept tripping on like why it even happened in the first place, for it to like, I was thinking about like the timing of our lives and how every decision had yielded that impact. And it was just so strange because it was clearly, it got my attention. I was like, what was the point? Like I was completely fine, but it was so terrifying. And all I could glean from that experience was not riding on the street. And that, which I thought was insignificant, ended up changing my life entirely.
Oh, absolutely. So, that took you to the track, which is a beautiful thing. Tell us your experience first time track because it's intimidating, right? First time
Ah,
on the track, taking to school, putting the orange t-shirt on, going out there the first time. I mean, there's a lot of intimidation and nervousness and anxiety that goes with it because I had it. I'm pretty sure everybody does. Tell us your first experience on track and what was it like?
my first experience on track was with California Superbike School. I went with a friend of mine who I was on the ride with that day. So my friend Kelly was riding with me, and I made the decision that I wasn't going to ride on the street. She was still commuting over Mount Rose Highway to go to Renown, the hospital, every day. And so I was like, let's just get some training in our pockets here. And so she and I went. And when we went to dinner with our coaches afterwards and sort of made friends. And we were like, how do you, because I didn't know anything about track days, or so I didn't know how you could even develop yourself as a rider. I saw our coaches and was like, how do you even get good at something like this? Because my only exposure was, buying a superbike school class day, which isn't, sustainable. It's sort of like a one or two times a lifetime you get to do it. They told us that they have a marshaling position. So when California Superbike School rents a track, they have to populate the marshals themselves. And that's a volunteer position. And so in exchange for flagging, you get free track time. And so Kelly and I attended a class in October, and California Superbike School happened to be adding another school at the end of their season, which would be taking place in Vegas in November. And so they sort of propositioned us. They said it was going to be a 6-day school that they were adding at Las Vegas. And they said if we were able to, I didn't have a bike at the time that was capable of, doing track stuff. I didn't have leathers. I didn't have any of that. We had a month. And they said, if you can get it together and come back down here, then we'll offer this position for you for marshaling. And so Kelly and I went halvesies on a Yamaha R3, which I ended up purchasing from her, which became my race bike. And I borrowed a trailer from a friend, and we had gas cans and a tire pressure gauge and some leathers without any armor or anything. And we showed up, and I mean, that 6 days changed my life. But what was incredible was we kind of, the next season started and we kind of gotten our feet wet. And so I became a CSS groupie and ended up having around 40 track days that season, just following them from track to track to track all up and down the West Coast. And what was so integral about that was, when you go to a track day, you're not on the track, right? But when you're marshaling, so it's 20 minutes every hour that the rotation goes. You kind of rotate with your friend, and then you're sitting on the corner from 9 to 5 with the radio, with the exception of the time that you're actually on the bike. And so what that did was, it's a very controlled environment with CSS. It's not like a track day. Track days are controlled too, but this is like kind of more so. It's like kind of 2-to-1 coach ratio. And I could say I'm sitting on turn 6 and the coaches are coming through. I can see their brake markers. I can hear when their bike is downshifting. I can hear the bike's throttle application. And when you're on the corner too, you're also rating for CSS, radioing in rider error. So like choppy throttle when someone's running wide. So even when you're not on the bike, you're super attuned to how to ride. And so just downshifting rhythms and brake markers, and I could see constantly. And so even when I wasn't on the bike, I was still inundated. And I think that really expedited a lot of my competence by watching as much as I did.
Oh, you learn so much by watching them. Exactly what you said. Brake markers when they break, the lies they take, the turn in points when they get on the throttle, pick the bike up, everything in between. And some you followed them around, so obviously you've been in the school a lot, and I know the importance of getting proper coaching. It changes everything, just like a full custom suit changes everything, right? So tell everybody the importance and how important it is to get that proper coaching, even though you think you are Valentino Rossi already. And also, and I've know you've seen this. I don't know why I just stuttered right there. The ego side of things, people coming in with these egos and they're so hard to learn and they throw these temper tantrums and you probably don't ever see them again. It happens more often than not. Right. And that's part of showing up, is leaving your ego out there, right? You're here to learn and progress and be faster.
That's why I think the discipline and practice of track riding is such an important discipline. We were talking earlier. I kind of lump them in the same category as a martial art, because it teaches you discipline and it humbles you in the same way. But as far as coaching is concerned, I think that you have to. So I was an alpine ski racing coach and professional skier before I transitioned to motorcycle racing. And one of the adages I learned as like an expert skier is to always remain teachable. And there's something that you can learn from anybody. And what I learned, I thought I was a competent motorcycle rider when I was on the street. Even though I didn't have any training, I knew how to shift gears and twist the throttle. So I thought I was competent. It wasn't until I had extensive training that I realized the level of skill it takes to properly operate a motorcycle. I think that it gets trivialized a little bit. You think that you swing your leg over the bike and just hop on it and go. And I think maybe that's a reason that bikes are so dangerous on the street, is because, in my opinion, it takes a higher level of training to operate a motorcycle than just kind of throwing a leg over and getting on the bike. And I think that one of the things that you touched on is humbling yourself, remaining teachable, and realizing that regardless of your level of expertise, there's somebody who can word something or phrase something differently that might change your perspective and make you a more competent rider. And I'm so grateful for the amount of coaching that I got from the beginning, because it's easier to start something off than back it and try and fix something that's already been established.
Break old habits.
Yeah.
Street riders, we develop such bad habits. We don't realize it. We're just mimicking what we see on TV, right? Or we go to the track and we watch them and we're just trying to mimic them. And it's, we don't know nothing about it until we actually, go to the schools and get the proper coaching, learning the body position and turning your head, looking through the corners and all that stuff that goes along with it, right? It's absolutely amazing. It is. It really is. Mark Morrow, he says, I dare you to knock this battery off my shoulder. So tell us about that.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So, my father did an Eveready commercial in 1978, I believe. And he was later replaced by the Energizer Bunny. But my dad did this thing where he's like hitting a speed bag and hitting the heavy bag and like kind of tough guy type situation. And then he puts the battery on his shoulder and dares the viewer to knock it off.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's cool though. It's still kind of a cool tagline. I was actually watching some of those videos the other day. But yeah, like quintessential 70s like tough guy thing, and he's daring him to knock him off. So that was pretty cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Good stuff. Mark, he has his own school too. He's absolutely amazing. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We have another BTR member actually watching right now, Brianna Everett. What up? Oh, yeah.
He's someone to look out for next year for sure. I think that with the Royal Enfield bikes, for me, it took a second to kind of hit my stride and get comfortable with that machine. I was coming from an R3, which was a lot lighter and just kind of more compact. With this other bike, it kind of takes a while to get your bearings, and I just watched her progress so much last season, and by last race weekend I was trying to keep her at bay. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see what she does next season. She had a great first year as well, and yeah, Bree's awesome.
Yeah, 110%. We'll definitely talk about the whole BTR and all the girls and all that. She says, "Hi, Camille. What about me, Brianna? What am I, chopped liver now?" No, I'm just joking. Uh, we have yeah, welcome to the podcast. Be careful what you ask for, Mark. I don't even want to try to say that
Yeah.
because I would murder it. And then Mark says, stuck at work today. Just glanced at my phone to see y'all. Have fun. Thanks, my friend. Appreciate it. So yeah, again, coaching, getting into track days. Did you do any club racing or anything before you decided to join BTR? And how did that whole BTR thing come along? I want you to tell your story for all the women that listen to the podcast,
Okay.
your whole journey and story of the whole BTR.
So this is kind of a trip, but I'm gonna.
No, go ahead, talk.
All right. So we established that I was at CSS and I was a CSS groupie and was like following them all around the West Coast. And so by doing, I was, at the track all the time. I met somebody who had a shop in Los Angeles, and it was Cam Bobier's younger brother, Ezra. And he was going to be competing in MotoAmerica for the first time. This was in 2022. And so I guess the shop had a deal with CSS, and so Ez was training while I was marshaling. And so I meet the team that he's working with, and I'm with my friend Kelly, whatever, and they offer for Kelly and I to come work for the team as Umbrella Girls. And so I had never heard of MotoAmerica before, and I'm like kind of familiar with like a grid girl, whatever, and I was just excited I had just immersed myself in racing and riding and was just excited to see the highest level of it and was excited to do it really in any capacity. And so my first race that I attended happened to be VIR. And that was in 2022. And I was holding an umbrella for Ezra. And it was a really cool experience because, you walk on the paddock for the first time. It's just a world of its own. And I went to the bathroom to fix my makeup, and Kaylee Bike 22's champion was in the bathroom, and she was preparing for her first race and was really nervous. And so I was like, oh my God, girl, you got it. First I saw a woman in leathers and I was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, oh, I'm with Build Train Race. I was like, what are you talking about? And she tells me that she's racing and that she built her own motorcycle, and I couldn't believe it. And so I sort of made a little private promise to myself. I aspired to be where Kaylee was when I met her. And so I made this kind of little private promise to myself that I was going to grid up at some point. And this was before I had any racing experience at all. And just as luck would have it, 3 years later, the only race that I won with Build Train Race happened to be at VIR. And it was my first time coming back. 3 years later, I went from Umbrella Girl to top of the podium in 3 years. And so that was a really big accomplishment for me.
110%. I was so proud of you. I watched your whole journey from the first year to the last year at VIR. Super stoked. It was, I love to see the whole progression and not only that on the track, but how you changed too as a person.
Oh, thank you.
Because there's a lot of change that happens being in the paddock, being raced, being part of the beautiful circus, as a person.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing to see. So once you heard about the program, walk us through the steps on, the whole application side of things, the 2 videos you got to shoot and send off, I do know about all that. But just let everybody else know, how does that go down? Of course, the nerves, the anticipation on getting that email back, whether you got accepted or sorry, try again next year.
Mm-hmm.
Talk us through, your experience with all that.
Yeah. So at the end of 22, I attended the remainder of the season, the races for MotoAmerica that year. And so I think in November or December of 22, I applied to Build Train Race. And I made the video, and I felt like because I had been writing so much that year, I really felt like I had a lot of experience. But in hindsight, I only had 40 track days, but from somebody who had none, that seemed like I had accomplished quite a bit. And so I feel like my first video, I was trying to almost convince them that I could do it. You know, it's not that I wasn't sincere. I was, but I was trying to inflate my experience a little bit more. Maybe I'm not quite sure, but I applied, and then I got the email back saying that I hadn't been accepted. And when I first got the news, I cried. You know, not
Of
hyster-
course.
I shed
Yeah. It's
tears.
emotional. Of
I
course it is.
I was upset, but in hindsight, I'm so grateful that I didn't have any racing experience yet. And when I look back on that, to show up at Barber in 24 and grid up at a national race without having ever done that before would have been traumatizing, probably. So everything happens for a reason, whatever. I'm so grateful that I wasn't selected that year, because it gave me a chance to get a year of club racing under my belt. And I just, in that year, I shaved 16 seconds off my lap time, and
That's
I shed
huge.
all that
Yeah.
time before I got to build, train, race. And I'm grateful that I was able to drop that rather than trying to work through that while building a bike, while being my own mechanic, just getting more confident with my riding, I think was huge. And I didn't even know that I needed to do that. I thought I was killing it. And then you show up at Friday practice, your first club race, and you're like, oh, speed's relative. And at superbike school, you think that a lot of people are on the bike for the first time. So you're like, I'm super fast. And then you show up to a race weekend and you're getting your doors blown off when you're giving it all you have. And it's, again, it's humbling.
Yeah. It's a lot of humble pie you eat.
Yeah,
A whole lot. Yeah.
it
It, it,
really
it
is.
is. But it teaches you a lot too.
Yeah, that's the payoff. And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful that I think it's really important as far as character development is concerned to have to humble yourself from time to time. And if you're going to race a motorcycle, that's going to happen to you.
100%. We're all vulnerable. We all learn. We're constantly learning. I mean, you think Valentino Rossi and Mark Marquez stopped learning how, no, they're always progressing, always learning. It's always improvements to be made, because there's always somebody that's going to show up that's faster than you. You got to understand why and then make it happen. Right. It's, yeah, and getting turned down again the first time you applied, all the emotions, the sadness, but it also ignited a fire because you wanted it even more. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so how many tries did it take you to actually get accepted?
I was accepted on my second try, but I think what was different about that was that my second video, I had something to say. I wasn't like, I had
Yeah.
experienced a whole season of racing my bike. And so I was able to offer something in my video that was absent before. I was trying to make up for that in my first video. And then my second one, I just felt grounded because I'd been through the ringer. It's like, motorcycle racing's no joke, man. And going through getting your racing license, and then being a novice, and getting out there for the first time it is not for the faint of heart.
110%. 110%. So second time, get accepted to be BTR, you get the email, you feel like you're on top of the world. You're like, yes, I made it. Let's go. And then you show up. I think it's a week to prepare. You get your motorcycles. You girls got to break them down, create them into race bikes. Now you're learning the whole mechanical side of things on motorcycles and how they work too as well. You got to do you girls paint your own bikes too as well, right?
Yeah, they wrap. We get to design them. Yeah, it was. So when I was so involved with learning how to ride that it was hard for me to look outside of that.
Yeah.
So my vision gradually got larger and larger the more competent I became. But when it started, it was just the controls of the bike. I couldn't look at what was going on in the paddock It was just this, and it was just the operating it. So when I showed up to the build in 24, I had never taken my wheel off. I didn't know how to do that. And part of it was like, and when you need to take your wheel off, for the most part, it's like a race weekend, right? And so I had been like outsourcing that and like getting made fun of. They're like, oh, you can't change your wheel. I'm like, I just don't quite. And I didn't want to like impose on anybody. And you know what I mean? So it was just sort of like, I was just kind of keeping that part at bay a little bit because it was so intimidating to me, I think. So when I showed up to the build, they give us an instruction manual and the tools, and they're like, these beautiful bikes. And they're kind of like, there you go, girls. And I didn't even, first of all, I couldn't read the instructions. I didn't know what a sprocket was until I ran out of gearing in MotoAmerica. Like people were talking about gearing and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But again, as far as like, I couldn't take any more information in. So it was like, I'll defer that till it is really important. You're like,
Right.
Well, you don't have the right sprocket, Camille. So
then you're like, what's a sprocket?
Right. And then you're like on the front straight and you're like, oh, okay, gearing, right. And so that like started to make room for it. But I didn't even know how to use the tools to build the bike. So there was definitely like this fear that washed over me when I first showed up, and just like totally overwhelming. But everyone that works, one of the things Scott Ryberick said to me, I was like, I felt it was like imposter syndrome. I'm like, I don't. And two, you're kind of like sussing out the other girls, and you're like, am I the least competent person here? How am I going to be able to manage this? I've never changed my wheel, let alone built a bike. And I remember Scott Rybo kind of pulled me aside and like looked in my eyes and was like, you belong here. And that was such a meaningful comment to me at that time. And it was really disarming. And my personal mechanic who was like overseeing my work was Sean Heth. And everyone that works for Build Train Race is so competent, patient, kind, generous with their knowledge, which is really what is important for someone to lower that barrier of entry so that I can enjoy the sport. Because without that generosity, it's nearly impossible. But you need a patient steward that's willing to take the time to walk you through some of these things. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to do that, because there are skills that are really important. Like when I was moving out to Nashville, I blew a tire on my trailer and I jacked it up and changed it myself. And like, I was like, what? I'm like,
you go, girl. Yeah.
What's happening? And so I have Build Train Race to thank for that. And somehow by the end of it, I fired my bike and it turned on. And just the sense of accomplishment, but also the gratitude for everybody's patience is enormous.
110%. And you learn so much about the mechanical things of motorcycles, which also I believe makes you a better rider, because that gives you a sense of what's going on when you're out there and maybe know how to fix it when you come back in. Right. And I could see where showing up, don't even know what a sprocket is, could be so overwhelming when you got a week and you're with a bunch of girls you never met before. And you're like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even, what's a flathead? What are you talking about? A Phillips? Yeah. What's
They're
a
like,
Phillips?
Grab
right?
the socket, grab the what? And I was like, the socket?
What? A wrench? What are you talking about? A torque wrench?
Yeah. Torque specs, the whole nine. But
Loctite? What is that?
I all Greek to me. But by the end of it, and the other thing I just wanted to touch on too with my group, and I think that Butch and Scott and Freddie do such a good job curating the members of the team, because while it's an individual sport and we're all competing against each other, And I do believe that it's Scott Rybo's stewardship that makes it this cohesive unit that has camaraderie and support. Is that my main competitors, I can I can ask what their tire pressures are, and they're lending a hand. And so it was such a beautiful experience to have them sort of curate this group of women that's competing against each other, but also has such camaraderie. I during the build, what could have been like meltdown scenario, like I shed a tear in the bathroom a couple times privately,
Yeah.
but I could reach out to my competitors as resources, and them support me was a really, I think, unique thing about Build Train Race.
110%, working with Scott, which I've met him. He's absolutely amazing human being. And then working with the legend, Freddie Spencer, that's absolutely, yeah, once in a lifetime opportunity, and the girls, you have a bunch of girls that never met before. And I see the camaraderie that, every year in, year out, that BTR builds, and everybody just becomes this one team, basically, right? Even though it's individual, like you said, we're out there trying to beat each other. But when you girls come in and the weekend's over, it's nothing but hugs and smiles and loves and cries, right? Because that always goes along with it.
Yeah.
But you learn so much, and you make friends that are going to be with you for the rest of your life. It's absolutely amazing. So you get into the program, it's your first year going in. There's a lot of, I want to say for me, it would be anxiety, because now I'm a MotoAmerica. I'm going to be live on TV. People are going to be coming by and seeing me and all this. Walk us through your first year, and what was it like? And did you have any expectations going in your first year?
I felt confident my first year, and I think it was because I didn't have expectations for myself. I've been, like I said, I was formerly like a competitive ski racer. And as a young person, I was a much different competitor than I am as an adult. And formerly, I'd kind of let expectations pressurize my performance. I would get really nervous. I couldn't eat beforehand. I would be nauseous and everything. And then I took a long time off of competing, and then revisiting competition as an adult after having been an alpine ski racing coach has been really neat, because you kind of have to put your money where your mouth is. I was coaching U10 um, alpine ski racers, and we have races every month. And so I'm like talking to them about, using nerves as fuel and, all this stuff. And so then putting myself into the competitor's shoes and then hearing the advice that I'd been giving to the kids was again another humbling moment, but was neat that I was able to kind of flip the tables and offer that coaching to myself in a sense. And so it was, I think, a gratifying experience to kind of see how different my approach was to competition. Not to say I don't get nervous, because I do, but it's not like I don't think I'm going to pass out,
Yeah.
prior to. It became more manageable. So, everything was new. I didn't have any expectations. Everything was cool. I was just pumped, you know? And the second season, I feel like, is when things kind of changed a little bit. You get, the competition a little bit better, put more pressure on yourself. Maybe you have these expectations. And I think that there was a marked difference between my two seasons for sure.
110%. That's that growth I was talking about earlier, right? And was saying that too. You got new competitors coming in
Yeah.
that second year, right? And some of the girls that you race with on the first year stay with you, but then the new crew kind of comes in, and it's like kind of starting over again, but not really, right? Like you're the veteran kind of BTR at that point, and not the rookie coming in. And it's beautiful to see how when the new girls come in, the veterans from the previous year always lend a hand and help them come up until they start beating them.
Well, I'll tell you, I had a moment because Shay, Miranda, Kira came out once, and I were all down at Chuck in the off season. And so I had like some personal stuff going on, right? So, and that's another thing I kind of wanted to talk about, because I feel like that shows up on the track. It's really hard to escape yourself on a motorcycle. I feel like whatever is internal kind of, it has a lot to do with confidence, right? So if you're confident off the track, I feel like that shows. But if you're doubting yourself, it's really hard to hide that coming into a turn.
100%.
If you're not totally confident that you've got your own back, you know, you're going to be a little hesitant. And so I just remember going down to Chuck and seeing Shay and Miranda just really starting to cook. And I was like, next season's going to be a different situation. The improvement between the 2 years was really substantial. And so I knew in January that I was going to be fighting tooth and nail come April.
When you had that outside stuff going on in your life, did that obviously create a bigger desire on the track for you to succeed more?
I think actually what happened was, so I'm like an all or nothing type of person. And when I started going to the track, I was pursuing it with absolute passion. And you know, my friend Kelly kind of dropped off, and then I'm racing tons, and I I put 40,000 track miles on my R3 and 120,000 miles on my truck that I got brand new in those three and a half years. Just I was constantly on, and then when you're pursuing it with such fervor, you're alone most of the time, and you're driving from California all the way to Washington. I drove to uh, Ohio, and you know, I was all over the place, and I just when you're doing it by yourself too, it's like it's arduous. You're setting up your pop up, you're undoing all the stands you're doing by yourself. You know, it's like it's a it's a circus for a one time person to be doing for 3 years, and so I burnt out, man, and I kind of knew that's what I was grappling with, but these things that I used to pursue with like such excitement were becoming daunting. I'm like, oh, I gotta go to Chuck. Whereas before, I'm like, the sound of motorcycles is like music to my ears. Race weekends would start and I'd hear bikes, vroom, 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 and I'm like, turn it off. I just think that I overdid it, which is true to form.
Yeah, 100%. It's sometimes you need to step back and hit a reset button.
Yeah.
And then come back full force. You know, it's we all come to that barricade in our lifetime, right? No matter what it is, it don't even have to be two wheels, right? It's whatever it is. It's
Yep.
but it changes you for the good when you face it straight up and say, yeah, this is what I want to do. I love it, and let's go. You know, it's all about passion and having fun at the end of the day is why we do it. You know, it's once you lose that, it's hard to, like you said, wake up and hear the bikes. You're like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Right
just the person next to you, like,
now? Yeah, you're like, oh,
you
yeah.
know. But
Oh my God. So first year at BTR, who's your biggest competitor?
my biggest competitor was Emma Betters.
Yep.
She's an excellent rider. She and I were kind of going toe to toe, but then Kira really started to improve as the year went on. And yeah, just everybody did. But my first year, my main competitor, I think was Emma. But then, you know, Miranda, Shay, duking it out, Cassie, you know, like there's some really good riders, but just watching, I'll tell you, Shay, I knew from the get, you know, it takes you a second to kind of get acclimated to the bike. But I remember, so Shay's an engineer and she like builds fire trucks, right? And we drop her off at the airport. She's wearing sweatpants and cowboy boots. And I'm like, I've got my eye on you, Shay.
She's trouble for sure.
Like
Yes.
I can see you. I know who you are. And she's just like a beast. Like I think she picked up her bike and finished 2 races. She still finished 3rd overall, you know, crashing out, like picking her bike up. Like she's a savage animal.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's the whole group of BTR riders are really interesting women.
They all bring their own unique aspect to it, right? And
Yeah.
their own. attitude and their finesse and the way they do things, especially on track too, right? And it shows who you are off track too as well, as you know, because you know them better than I do. I know them pretty well, but you know them better than I do because you traveled with them and had fun with them. So let me ask you this: who's the biggest clown of BTR those 2 seasons you was there? Who's a troublemaker?
Huh. I'm trying to think of who's the troublemaker. I just think Lucy popped to mind because she's always joking. She's always joking with everyone. She's always got people laughing.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, Lucy keeps things light and fun.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
She's another one that showed so much growth over the past 2 years from the time she came into the last. Yes,
100%. She
yep.
was, and her body position, just like she was cooking. She really made some serious improvements for sure.
She did absolutely. So, first year BTR, you learned, you become friends with all the girls, and then that year 6 of them didn't leave because there was something that went on. I forgot what it was. There was only 4 new girls that came in.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. See, I got some
Yeah.
type of memory anyway.
Yeah, me. I'm like, how many of us were there?
Yeah. So the 4 new girls come in, the other 4 leave. It's always a party at the end of the year, right? Always cries and hugs and all that. So second year BTR coming in, did the expect change at all on you, or was you just like, I definitely want to win a race this year? Or
I think that because I got second in the championship my first year.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, I can win this next year. Like I can do it. And I do believe that it's in my skill set and my wheelhouse to have won more races. But I was really personally challenged, and I'm so grateful that I won a race. I started off the season being like, okay, maybe I can do the championship, whatever. That last weekend at VIR, I was like, if I can have anything in the world, it's just to get 1 W. That's really all I want. And then I can check this box and maybe hang up this insane obsession that has been ruling me for the last 4 years. And so I'm just so grateful that I was able to experience that, because I will remember that forever.
I was super pumped for you when
Thank
you
you.
won that race. I was screaming, hooping, and hollering. It was
Yes.
I felt the emotions, right?
Yeah.
To me, it felt like the run up, obviously the weekend at Friday and Saturday, it was a super weird sensation within BTR, the aura around the energy, because some girls are leaving.
Yeah.
It's the last hurrah. For the other ones, it was their first year. But then I felt, like you said, the girls that's never won or much less got a podium, was the last chance to do it. So it added an extra bit of tension, not between the girls, but on you as an individual, the weight you put on yourself, And then when you won, it was like, as soon as I come into the tent, your energy was completely different. It was like the weight of your world was just, yes, he was like
years of me, it was just, and I was so grateful I got a good start, which has been the biggest struggle for me. And I just remember pulling on Shay, and I was like, what the? And I got the whole shot. I couldn't believe it. And it was actually like, it was terrifying, the whole time being in front, just trying to keep them at bay.
Maintain, yeah.
And praying that you keep it all together was, like I said, I'm like so grateful that I was able to pull that out of the hat somehow. But so that was a highlight for sure.
100%. And I just want to talk about that race real quick. You getting the whole shot, leading the race. It was obviously the first time leading the race, first experience with it. But at that moment in time, was everything like slow motion, or did it just happen so quick when it was over? You're like, what happened?
I think, I've had these slow-mo incidents happen, but that's in times of crisis. Like when I've crashed and stuff, things go slow-mo, and I kind of get that vibe. But Maybe a little bit. What I remember most about it was when I was working down at Chuck, happenstance yielded coaching with Jason Pridmore. And he and I kind of became friends after our coaching experience. And he had been taking me under his wing a little bit and offering coaching while we were at some of the same rounds. And like I said, I touched on having done a lot of this and a lot of the traveling primarily by myself. And I remember Jason was on the wall and I could see him out of my periffs cheering for me each lap. And I'm telling you, it just gave me it was added incentive, I think, because I just wanted him to be there when I got the checkered. And it was so motivating, and just like checking and seeing him there every time was, I think, what I needed to put it over the goal line. And so I'm really grateful that he was there. That's something that I'll remember forever is him giving me a fist on the wall.
I love it. I love it. Was there any point in time during the moment of your last year with BTR that you were thinking about what's next?
Yeah, it came mainly after my victory, because it's like I'd been chasing that for so long. And while I was very grateful to experience it, I had put everything that I had into racing and riding. And I'm like, was that it? Was that it? Like, is that what this was all for? Was just this moment that's fleeting and already gone? And I'm like, that couldn't have been it. This is, after we've all said our goodbyes. And I'm like, what the hell was that? Because like, I wasn't riding bikes prior to I was pursuing a career skiing. I was not interested in bikes, a little casual ride. And then my whole life changes and I become obsessed with this. And then it's just over. And I'm like, the hell was that about? And it just got my wheels turning. And I think that after having done this full immersion into riding, I don't think that it was about the win. I think that was an added bonus for me. But what I've come out with is just how important I think learning to ride a motorcycle is for character development, what the track can offer to people. I think is akin to what a dojo can for people who practice a martial art. I think that it's taught me a lot about myself and my competency and given me greater confidence in myself. And I think that what I'm interested in doing now is, we spoke earlier about it being such a niche. And it would be a dream of mine to try and broaden and grow the audience of motorcycle road racing, because I think that it's a worthwhile endeavor. I think that it's stereotyped incorrectly. I don't think it's about adrenaline. I hate the term adrenaline junkie. I think that it's about precision, focus, and competence and composure, which is the complete opposite of what it's framed as on the street. And I think that bringing more eyes to what's actually going on in a race and at the track would do a lot for MotoAmerica. And I think that I'd like to participate in growing and broadening the audience.
I love it. So, what's your plans? What do you plan to do with it?
So I've been talking a little bit with MotoAmerica. I have a bunch of kind of plans, but when we went to the Ridge, I have a friend I went to high school with. Do you follow UFC at all?
No.
Okay, so there was a UFC fighter. His name's TJ Dillashaw. He was a 2-time world bantamweight champion. And he and I went to high school together, and his wife is one of my dear friends. So when I competed in Washington, they came to the race. And what I noticed instantly was that everybody on the paddock knew who TJ was and respected him. And TJ was very impressed by what we were doing. So it was this like mutual respect between UFC and road racing. And so I was like, I've been really motivated to try and grow the audience. So I've been working with TJ and talking with MotoAmerica. And I have a concept where I would invite a prominent UFC fighter to select MotoAmerica rounds as a special guest and have them do a 2-up, right? And then interview them afterward, do some aim solo readouts, have them do a 2-up, get the data from their ride, overlay that with the race pace, so you can really kind of drive home how gnarly it is what these people are doing. And I think that if you take a UFC fighter who is sort of a social symbol for strength and bravery and, badassery, you put them on the back of a super bike and have them authentically experience what it's like skydiving without leaving the ground, and feel the G forces and the braking, and then overlay that with a real race lap, so you can see, you're like, oh, you thought you were going fast here? Check out the brake marker, I think would be a really great way to just bring more eyes. And if you have a UFC fighter be like, that's cool. A lot of those, because the demographic for MotoAmerica is primarily older, affluent men. And so UFC, their main demographic is like 18 to 32-year-old dudes. So if we can kind of just bring their attention to bikes a little bit, I think that could be a cool thing for watching, and might generate more interest in getting more people to the track.
I freaking love it. It's a fantastic idea when two worlds collide. I love it. Yes. Good. Well, good. I hope it works out. I'd love to see it. Yeah. Next time you do, like, I don't really follow UFC. I do watch it from time to time. I'm so wrapped up in motorcycles as my lifestyle. It's all I think about and blah, blah, blah. It is nice to sit down. Like when I go out with my boys, eat chicken wings and watch the UFC fight. I don't know who half the guys are, right. I don't know. I just, whatever.
Right.
It is what it is. I'm just two wheels, girl. That's it. That's me.
I feel that.
But UFC. I remember when it first started, a buddy of mine in high school was real, I don't want to, Hoist Gracie, if I remember right. Ken Shamrock too, I think. I remember them when UFC first come out. Kind of dabbled a little bit watching it here and there. I just it's hard for me to focus my attention on other things.
Right. I get that.
You know what I mean? So it's like I gotta pick and choose my battles in here. If that makes sense, It's
it does. But one of the things I thought was neat about partnering or just sort of following the lead of UFC is, like, if you remember when it first started, it's like you're fist fighting in a cage, right? So it's like marginalized, and you're like, what even is this? But what's happened is they succeeded in making it a mainstream sport now. So what I think is, with motorcycle racing, it's easy to marginalize it as well. Adrenaline junkies, crazy, and kind of put it in the same category as fighting, in a sense, like doesn't take any skill. But then bringing it into mainstream culture and seeing that it is about discipline and preparation and all of those things, I think that you can kind of hopefully change the stereotype like UFC did with fighting. I'm hoping we can kind of do with motorcycle racing as well, by partnering the two and kind of removing the stigma, in a sense.
I love it. So what tracks do you plan on attending this year?
In an ideal world, I would want to go to Daytona, and then MotoAmerica, Laguna, and Coda, and then New Jersey. You have to go to the last round too. But I've never attended an MA race at Laguna before, and that was my first time I've ever been on the track.
Love it.
It was with CSS at Laguna. So
love it.
Yeah. I'd love to go back there and see a race round.
Well, good. Hopefully I'll see you at Daytona in March.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there for sure. Me and my dad will be out there. Trust me, you won't miss me. It'll be good to see you and hang out. Maybe we'll go out and catch a beer somewhere.
I'd love that.
During the weekend. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll definitely make that happen. Your whole journey's been absolutely amazing. It's all about the journey, the beautiful people you meet. And like you said, when you get involved in two wheels, it totally changes your life. You don't realize it at the moment. Like you said, you dabbled in and out, but look where it brought you. Look at all the achievements and goals you made. And I know I'm proud of you. And I know Scott and Freddie and Lucy and Shay and all of them, they're just as proud of you. And I know you're as proud as yourself as we are. Look, my boy just got home from school.
Hey.
What's up, Rossi?
No, why is Mama asleep?
Because Mama's tired.
When
Maybe
did
she wants to
get
take a
home?
nap. She got off early today. You gonna say hi to Camille?
Yeah, I got like this red thing on my lip.
He got red.
It's like a
It
rash
happened.
and it hurts.
It happens.
My lips are so dry.
The drop. Well, there's chapstick in there. Okay. All right. Was your
Oh.
Chick-fil-A good?
Ooh.
I like whenever I get to school and then my lips are like super chapped and I just bite it, like the little piece of skin and stuff,
Oof.
and it just starts bleeding. And then I did this and like that, and it stops.
Cool.
It's like right here in the middle.
I know what you're talking about.
We all do, right? So he had a test today at school. So he calls me up. He's like, Dad, he's like, what's up, Dad? I already knew what he wanted. You want me to bring you lunch? He's like, yes, please. I was like, what do you want? I want 8-piece chicken nugget meal, a large fry, a large Coke, but I don't want you to eat with me today because I have a test and I forget your teacher's Miss Horn. But I want you to bring
her every day.
I want to eat lunch with my teacher and do my test at Chick-fil-A. I said, okay. So
Nana brings
Yeah, drop the
me lunch.
nuggies and go, Dad.
yeah, dude.
Drop
So
the
I had
nugs and split.
straight up. And even the lady, I forget her name because they all
Miss
know me by
Orange.
name because I go there all the time. And she's like, you're not staying today. I was like, Rossi don't want me to stay today.
No.
She's like,
Got
okay,
other
bye.
instructions.
Right? Yeah, I got specific
See.
instructions today, and I have to follow them. So
I
Yeah, keep
did
it cool,
like
Dad. Keep it cool.
10-question quiz on my
facts. It's
phone. I did it.
hilarious.
I got 87.
Well, good. I'm proud of you. You got an
Let's go.
87, my man.
Bro, and when Mom wakes up, I gotta ask her what chores I can do because I want the freaking full game of Veil, bro.
Okay.
That's my favorite game.
I know it is.
It's
I
my
know.
favorite game. And
I'll
then-
get you some chores together you could do for some money.
But
Yeah.
it's they have like
You
a
remember
bunch.
those days?
They have a bunch of $30 bundles, but you can like the game used to be $40 when it came out, and you couldn't get it for free. But everybody wanted it so bad because it's the most realistic shooter. Because like the on the side of a gun, the little switch on the side that like what is it, safety and
The
it-
selector switch.
yeah, you can actually grab that and turn it.
I know. I watched you play it the other day.
And the knife, I'm a knife god, bro. I
You're
was
a
at
knife
the
guy?
second floor, and this kid was at the bottom. He was walking past. I just threw my knife, hit him in the head, instantly died, killed him.
So this happens all the time. He's always busting in
Veil
during the podcast.
Extraction. It's called Veil Extraction. It's free, and they have a $30 bundle. It's called Veil Combat, and this is the full game. You get access to everything, and I want it because I can get the battle pass and all that stuff. And then the next thing I want, like later, when I get more money, is this other $30 bundle that they have. It's like skin and weapon pack. So fire, because it's like when you get a mask, it's like pink galaxy, and the knuckles are pink galaxy, and it's like white and pink and galaxy.
Right.
Because our favorite color is pink.
Absolutely. I'm with
It's
it.
literally on the shirts, like all of them.
I know. High five,
Because
buddy.
your freaking
Us.
favorite color is pink. I mean, just look. Got freaking these on. Dude, he came to the racetrack with those on and a freaking bright.
You want to sit down and take over?
No.
Come on
I'll
in.
let you. Yeah, come
Have a-
on here.
have a
You want to
chat.
sit down and get on here and have a chat with Camille?
I don't want to.
Okay.
I want to
All
go
right.
my VR and knife people in the head.
All right. You go play your VR. Let me get done
Dude,
with
they have
this.
the Vector, and it's so good.
Good.
This is the
Vector's a
game.
cool gun too. It's a real gun.
I know.
So he plays on this Oculus, the virtual world video game thing. So
Oh, yeah.
he's all into it, obviously. If you can't tell.
Yeah.
Actually, we actually have Pearl. What is up? She's in the
Oh,
chat.
what's up,
Yeah.
girl?
She's awesome. And then
Hey, babe.
she's absolutely amazing. I actually met her mom and dad at VR, which was
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
both in town. That was really
It's called
cool.
the Smooth
They're super
Brain
sweet.
Pack. That's the one I want after.
all right, cool.
You see how galaxy it has?
I do. It looks
This
good.
is the Veil Combat. It's just the full game.
All right.
Super sick.
Super sick. There you go.
Super cool. And I wanted to rally, and I texted my mom, and she was actually nice this time. She wouldn't.
Mommy was nice.
Yes.
Imagine
every
that,
time
right?
I ask her for something over the phone, she's always like, puts the no, and it hits me like, no. And it's so mean. And then she finally texted me, and it was like a nice, I don't know.
Well,
So,
good. Well, if I was you, I'd be shh and let her sleep.
Well, I'm not going to wake her up. That's like the dumbest thing to do.
I'm not gonna wake her
Bye.
up.
Bye. I'm getting on VR.
All right, I love you. Anyway, yeah. So,
Things interesting with that guy, huh?
listen, Camille, he keeps me on my toes, honest and wide open the whole time. His name's Hayden Rossi after Nikki Hayden and Valentino.
Cool.
Yeah, he goes to. I take him to AMA with me. We usually go to VR in Jersey. He usually goes with me. I took him to wear a Cycle Jam at Road Atlanta. We was there for one day. I went the whole weekend, but after that, he's like, "This is nothing like MotoAmerica." I was like, "No, dude, I told you it was a club race." He's like, "Yeah, this ain't for me. I want to go back with MotoAmerica." And so he ended up staying at my buddy's house, which we stay at because he's 20 minutes from the track, and he's got kids his age, so they just video gamed it up the whole weekend. And
There you go.
yeah, it's hilarious though. But he's definitely a talker, and everybody when he comes to the track, everybody loves him. They're all giving him hugs, and they just look at me like I'm the outsider.
Yeah, no, I get that. I have a little dog named Littlefoot, and it's the same thing. Everyone's like, "What's up, Littlefoot?" I'm like,
I'm over here, guys.
"Don't worry about it.
Hi, I'll be
We'll talk
okay.
later."
Right? I love it. We got a good buddy of mine, Chris Durbin. What's up, Simcoe? What's up, buddy? He says, I'm ready for racing season to start. BTR is an awesome program. It is proper mega for sure. He says, definitely need a torque wrench and Loctite. Facts. 110%. And then another good buddy of mine, Paul McKee, he races too. He says, well said, a worthwhile endeavor indeed.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Right on. So
Absolutely.
cool to see that just the interest and the support in it has been unreal. And I just remember at Road America specifically, they had a record turnout for people coming to support. And we did like a little fan thing where we were signing our posters, and there were so many young girls. And it was a really, 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 really cool experience to see that happening.
110%. I'm a huge fan of the program. It's we definitely need it. 110% we need it. It's one of the best things we have in MotoAmerica for sure. Some people disagree, but boo on you if you do. Don't give a shit, right? Like really don't. So
no, I don't either. Give them a chance, man. Let them rip.
Let them rip. So we are in 2026, Camille. It's hard to believe them 2 years went by like that, right?
I know. Wild, yeah.
It's crazy. So 2026, you got this new thing going on with UFC and MotoAmerica. It's absolutely amazing. It's going to absolutely take off. It's going to be a huge thing. If there's anything I can do to help you out on the end, please let me know. I'll help you out. 2026, you know, we got some of our friends that are in BTR this year and with new girls coming into as well. So who do you think is going to be the biggest competitor this season in BTR?
Well, I'm telling you, I was scared of Brianna Everett just coming up. I mean, in race 3, like what happened with me was once I Saturday kind of checked the box, it was hard for me to get back up, right? You know, I was like, one more race, I can do it. But Bree's hungry. I think that and we talked about this, if she was just less friendly to me on like that race, you know, just if she weren't so courteous, we may have had a different ending to that race. So I think with just a little bit more confidence and less wiggle room, I think Brianna will be a really, really fierce competitor. All of them, Tati too, she was really speeding up, picking up some pace. Like I said, just getting familiar with the bike really, I think, changes things. So I'm excited to see where everybody ends up, but my money is on Everett.
Love it. I love it. And where's your GT650 at now?
I actually donated it back to the program.
Did you really?
Yeah. And I think too when I spoke with Ribo, because Freddie had his own bike, and so we were able to train with him on track for training this year. But as the season went on, we ended up siphoning a bunch of parts off of his bike and, you know, what have you. So I just saw the need for more for parts, you know, and I was gifted so much from that program.
I love
it. Yeah, our accommodations and everything. So I was really grateful to be able to offer it to those guys so that and Ribo might be able to ride it for training which
Love it.
I was really excited about too. So if Rybo and Freddie are both on those bikes, like, come on. Yeah.
Giving back to the sport. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So are you plan on doing any track sessions yourself this year or?
Well, maybe. I mean, my bike, I need to just get my bike back from, I have an R3. Its name's Miyamoto, and it's in Tennessee right now. So I'm on the 14. I'm like an hour away from Streets of Willow Springs, which is one of my favorite tracks. I've heard that it's been repaved, but I've also heard some weird stuff about whether they're letting motorcycles on it. So I would like to have I don't know, I could go down to Chuck and do a club race here and there. I'm like, I'm taking some time off. And then I'm like, I want to get my bike and start riding.
She's like, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah. Story of my life.
Hey, you know what? I feel you in more ways than one. Trust me, I feel you on that, Camille. It's life's so beautiful, and I call it as we getting younger in age, you realize what's more important than anything, right? And it just changes the way you think and changes the way you approach every situation you come upon, right? So it's yeah, I stay confused on my day-to-day life too as well. Even though I got a beautiful wife and she's my queen and my son's the best thing, and my princess Fiona is my dog and 2 cats. It's my bikes and the podcast and all this I got going on. It's still a struggle sometimes every day, right? Let's just be honest. So, yeah. But to have the beautiful friends like you and everybody else in the beautiful circus, and it makes it worthwhile.
No, I'm so grateful for the work that you're doing and just sort of turning the lens around to everybody on the paddock. I think is really cool, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity to talk to you and hopefully maybe encourage more people to train, go to some riding schools, wear your protective gear, and get on a motorcycle.
110%. This is not the only podcast we're going to do. Me and you're going to sit down again in the future. 110%. So yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this. What advice would you give to all the women out there that are listening to this now, or that's going to listen to this, that are thinking about getting into riding, for one, coaching, and the whole stigmata of BTR?
Yeah. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do it. Just go, show up. And I think one of the things that I've learned about the greater paddock, not just the MotoAmerica, was that I had a friend with me to begin with, but then set off on my own. And I had my needs met every time I was on the paddock. The motorcycle community is so supportive, welcoming, encouraging. And I think that if you just take the steps to show up, you're gonna get what you need to follow through with it. So yes, you can. Come on, let's go. Do it.
Let's do it, right? That's what I tell everybody. Do it. Just sign up, right? It's that simple. Just sign up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think as far as the BTR video is concerned, just with my experience, I think I noted at first I was maybe trying, just be authentic. I think authenticity speaks volumes, and it doesn't come down to just your riding experience. I think that they really try to select a person who's going to be an integral and important team member. And so I think that is part of it as well. It's not just about your riding. I think that showing up as a team player and a hard worker and an authentic, honest person is the best chance you'll have at getting selected.
110%. Always stay true to yourself. It's the best way you could be in life, period. Period. Right. Well, listen, Camille, this has been a lot of fun. I want to transition to the next part of the podcast where I get to pick your brain and we get to know Camille and what she does away from the racing. And the first question I have for you is, tell us something we don't know about you at all.
I was born in Rome, Italy.
Nice.
I had nothing to do with that decision. And it doesn't
right.
Oh, but it's a fun little, no, I don't have dual citizenship or a passport. So yeah, that's just a quick little, you wouldn't know.
I love it. I had no idea. That's all. Have you ever been back since then?
I was once when I was like 11 or something, but it's been a minute. I want to go skiing in the Dolomites at some point. So
There you go. Right. Future bucket list item. Well, one bucket list item I have for myself is the TT. I want to go to the Isle of Man TT.
Oh yeah.
I've been to BSB in 23. That was another one on my bucket list. So I could check that one off. Went to Cadwell Park, which is my favorite racetrack in the world. So check that, and Brands Hatch. So definitely going to put that back on my calendar too, as well.
I'd like to do a wheelie, like a prolong, like I want to get my wheelies on lock. That's a bucket list for me.
Okay.
You know, just bring it up, just give like a real solid, undeniable.
Proper mega wheelie. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I love it. One of those. Give a middle finger, maybe.
And you can do it, my friend, and you will. 110%. Are you a coffee drinker?
Yes, all day, every day. I've got coffee right here.
So you sound like my wife. It'd be 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, we're gonna go to bed. She's drinking coffee. I'd be up all night. Yeah.
Yeah, a little espresso, a little nightcap. Yeah.
Yeah, I like espresso too. Espresso is absolutely good. Obviously you already said dogs and cats. What do you do for work?
Well, I don't know what exactly to like call myself, but I'm a precision driver, so I do like stunt driving stuff. Most recently I did like a car commercial. And so since I'm back in Los Angeles, I'm trying to get more work like that. I have a job coming up in the beginning of February where I'm shooting for a catalog. It's in reviewing ski gear. So I don't know. There's a Johnny Mosley's his name. He was a Olympic mogul skier in the 90s. He works for a company called Peter Glenn, and he and I do a catalog and review gear for them. So I'll go up to Tahoe in February and shoot for 3 days doing skiing stills and then kind of modeling stuff. Yeah, and then I'm just going to try and put some more pressure on my precision driving endorsement and see if I can't get more driving commercials now that I'm kind of down close to LA now. I should be able to get more work.
I love it. I love it. You're living the dream life, girl. You are living the dream.
I don't know what we're doing. We're doing some version of something.
Right? I don't know. Is this the Matrix? Is it not the Matrix? I don't know.
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon, right? No spoon at all, but you can bend it with your mind.
Yeah.
For sure. 100%. What's your worst habit? Mine's procrastination, especially when it comes. So I do my own laundry and I'll wait till I got to do laundry. And then I'm there for 2 days doing laundry, and I cuss myself every time.
Yeah.
So
I'm that way with dishes. I hate dishes. I hate it. I will fold everybody's laundry. I love it. I love bringing order to chaos. I'll sit there and fold for hours. I hate doing the dishes. I procrastinate. I don't know. I'm like which bad habit, but probably procrastination is the worst. For instance, I can't even my registration's expired.
Who needs to register? What are you talking about? I bought the car. What are you talking about? It's registered with the DMV. What?
And it's not because I couldn't do it. It's because I was I'll do that later. And now I can't drive. So it's that's a bad habit.
Me too. When it comes to tolls, going to Jersey and all these MotoAmerica races, right? It's I get a toll bill. I'm it's $14. Yeah, I'll pay it. And then I forget about it. And then the next thing I know, it's $90. I'm like, holy shit, I better pay this. Right? Yeah. I kind of put it off in the background. Procrastination. For sure. 110%. Listen, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I'm currently listening to The Art of Racing in the Rain, which is a mega movie if you ain't seen it. You haven't seen The Art of Racing in the Rain? You've got to watch it. So it is a movie about a dog and his owner is a race car driver, but the movie's about the dog's perspective of life. And it is, you're a dog lover. Just have some box of tissues with you nearby too. It's one of the best dog movies, probably the best in my opinion out there.
All right.
And the books, as you know, are always better than the movies, right? Because there's so much more information. But are you a reader or audiobook listener too?
I'm kind of both. It depends. I have to read, I'm reading something outside of my wheelhouse right now. It's about physics. What? I get half of it and have to reread it a bunch. So I'm on page 15 of that. So yeah, there's that. And I listen to audiobooks. I'm listening to one, right? The 4 Agreements. Have you heard of that book? Anyway, this is called 3 Questions, and it's more of a story. So I listen when I'm putting my makeup on. but I can't put my makeup on and read something about physics. I'm like, wait, what? Quantum?
Right? You're like, I'm putting my makeup on. Who's got time for that? Yeah, I feel you on that right now. I'm good with the audiobooks. Let's just hit play. Yeah. It's I listen to all kinds of audiobooks. Of course, motorcycle racing books too as well. So also listen to a lot of podcasts. Do you listen to podcasts? No, I take that as a no.
Yeah.
Like podcasts, what are you talking about?
Sometimes, but I just with podcasts, I feel like my problem is like there's like, where do you start?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's so many, and I would love to, I just don't know where. I don't know where
to begin.
To go.
Yeah, especially when you kind of like want to listen to one and you click on it and there's like 1,000 episodes. You're like,
where do I? How do I? But I'm a real psycho. I can deal with silence. Like I can just drive with nothing.
I can too.
Yeah.
It's my way of, I guess, getting out of my own head, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And just being quiet. No radio, no nothing, just the wind and the noise the car makes and people going by. And yeah, maybe a little road rage in between. I don't know, maybe. Road rage.
I'll tell you something really quick. I'm not proud of this, and I think it happened because of, so when you race motorcycles, your spatial parameters get a lot smaller, right? So like coming up on someone or what have you, like now what used to be, it's like, so anyway, I had a road rage experience, and I just realized that my parameters have gotten a little bit. I was like, you need to calm down, Camille. You need to calm down.
It was funny when I was in high school, I had road rage. I don't even know where it come from. So I used to have this sticker on my steering that says road rage world champion on it. Yeah. But I got over that. It's
I'm over it too, for the most part.
There are those times in people, but we'll leave that at that. Spicy food. Are you a spicy food person?
Yes, I am now. I used to be such a hypochondriac that when I would have something spicy, I didn't realize that like it triggers like a heat response. Your nose. So I thought it was like an allergic reaction. Once I realized that wasn't the case, I love spicy food.
Do you cook?
I don't love that about myself, but
no.
I've thought about changing it.
You should. It's fun. I get it from my mom. It's I guess there's some type of gratification of you putting these ingredients. It's like building a bike. You're putting all these ingredients together for the end result, and then it tastes so good. Same thing throwing your leg over the bike. When you fired it up, right? It's the same satisfaction. And then people eat it like, yeah, this is good. And then it's just
I get theoretically.
Yeah.
It's but and like providing, it's like a way to show your love. I understand that too. I haven't gotten there in my life yet. It's on my to-do list. I like water, cook something.
She's like, I'll just throw it in the microwave, hit the button, and I'm good to go, right?
Though, so I never quite get to those things.
What's your favorite thing to eat then? What's your favorite food?
So I'm a convenience type of person. So like I'll let you in on a little secret. I probably shouldn't say out loud on a podcast, but I eat, technically it's baby food, but they're like those little pouches.
The little yogurt pouches.
Yeah, but they're like smoothies.
Yeah.
They're like for babies.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a quick way to get your newts, veggies and fruits just down the hatch. So I do that. I eat a lot of peanut butter because I like nutrient dense, quick, convenient food.
On the go.
Chicken strips.
Yeah.
Like beef jerky, but chicken kind.
Yeah, I'm the same
like
way.
That.
I remember when God, I love cream cheese. Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
String cheese.
Oh, string cheese. I like string cheese too, but I love cheese. With you saying that, I did the same thing when Rossi. I was like, man, this food smells like utter shit. It's got to taste like shit. And I taste it and I'm like, this shit ain't actually that bad, right? And then I started doing the same thing as little yogurts. I tried them like,
yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm eating yogurt. She's like, that's for the baby. I was like, and?
Delicious.
That's good. Have you tried it?
Clean. It's
healthy.
So it's healthy.
Absolutely.
And then you've had some fruits and vegetables.
It's all in one convenient meal for you.
Who cares? That's more efficient. So convenient and efficient is how I eat.
110%. What's the one superpower you wish you had?
It's a really great question. I mean, I don't want to sound lame, but flying would be dope.
Flying would be dope.
Everybody says that, I'm sure, but
No, I get a lot of different responses.
I was
on
thinking
that.
skiing in the dark, but why would I want to do that? Breathe underwater. Who really cares?
I would love to teleport. That would be my superpower. And I put a lot of thought into it. First thing I was like, Superman, I want to fly and do all this. And I was like, you know what? Teleportation would be cool because I could be like, hey, Camille, I'm gonna come. We're gonna do a podcast side by side. I'll be there in a second. Boom, there I am. I'd be like, hey, let's go to Australia. Boom, I'm in Australia. Hey, I'm going back home. Boom.
But what about when they say it's not about the destination, it's the journey?
See, I do love the journey. That's why I kind of conflicted with the whole thing, right? But I guess every destination you show up to, you're gonna have that little mini journey for whatever time period you're there, and then and then it's just
is what I like to think in Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
When they,
get smaller,
go up elsewhere.
I love it.
Yeah, fly just because that would be great.
Yeah, fly would be cool. Do you have any tattoos?
I have several tattoos.
Love it. You plan on getting any more?
I do. I go through phases where I have some that are like partially removed. Like for instance, I have a once removed Mama Tried neck tattoo. And I'm going to leave it as such. It's like kind of removed, a little shitty, but that's just what I get for A, tattooing my neck in the first place, and then B, questioning whether or not it should be there. So I kind of like this. I don't like it, but I think that like leaving, I didn't need to make this statement. I did it when I was 25 or something, to like set me apart from whatever. And then I don't know if you've ever had a neck tattoo before, but they're challenging to sport, No,
never had one. I got a couple I wish I wouldn't have got, young and dumb, blah, blah, blah. I want to get covered up, but I'm a fan of tattoos. I got a bunch myself. It's therapeutic for me. It's something about the pain. It's not pain, but it is. And it's like, it's hard to explain to somebody that's never had it. Cause I think again, it's a unique individual experience. Right. I remember my grandma passed away. I got, Marco Simoncelli had passed away too. He's one of my favorite riders. And so I got this big Marco Simoncelli tattoo on my forearm. And I went after she had passed away, and I literally slept through the whole thing. And my buddy went with me because he drove me. And he was like, I never seen somebody just sleep through a whole tattoo. Like literally just lay down, put my headphones on. It was just like, wake me up when you're done. And that was it. It's I got one on my back in that middle of my spine. That was pretty right there, right? It made you feel alive for sure. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. But it's funny. My mom and I just got tattoos together. We got these like little ladybugs. And she was telling me, because she has another tattoo and she fell asleep too when she was getting it. And she was talking about how she was like, that's a thing. People sleep in it. And I hadn't met another person until you.
Yeah. I slept. My most recent one I got, I'll just show you real quick. So he's been gone like a year and a half already, a little bit over a year. One of my dogs, his name was Cruz. He was like, dogs are just like humans. They have their own personality, their own likes and dislikes, their own vibe, and he was such a human of a dog. He was 6. It got within like a week and a half I had to put him down. It was all of a sudden it was super rough on me. So we went down. I got this Snoopy tattoo riding a skateboard with the heart on it, right? Because he looks like Cruz. So I was like, that's my Cruz one, and there's my Simoncelli one of my own.
Oh,
so, I'm a big fan of skin art. So we got Kara Knabel in the house. What is up? Yeah, what is up? You guys stay tuned because she's actually coming back on the podcast this month. I'm pretty sure. I have to look at my calendar.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Kara was my roommate throughout the 2 years, and so she and I became pretty close. Yeah, Kara rules.
Yes, she does. Well, listen, this has been a whole lot of fun. I'm gonna let you go because I actually got a video chat coming up here in about 30 minutes. Camille, it's been an absolute honor to have you on. Everything, all the success you can dream of in life, my friend, I hope you achieve it 10 times over. And it's such an honor in this short lifetime to be friends. Okay. And I really mean that. One last question for you. I'm gonna let you end the podcast. Listen, you have your own team in MotoAmerica, not BTR. Okay. What manufacturer motorcycle would you have, and who are the 2 current riders in BTR you'd put on your race bikes?
I'd ride a Ducati, and I'd have Kira and Che.
There it is, right? There it is. So
Yeah.
listen, before I let you end the podcast, I just want to say thank you to everybody that watches this podcast, everybody that tuned in today, everybody that hits that like and subscribe. It helps me out a whole lot, and I really mean it. I love each and every single one of you, because if it wasn't for you, Camille, and everybody else coming on here, I wouldn't be able to do this, and I appreciate it. I really do. And I'll see you guys and girls at the track in March. I'll see you there too, Camille, and I mean that. We'll go out to eat for real. Just stay on with me for a brief second once I end the podcast. But yeah, thank you. This podcast will be out everywhere, Spotify, iHeart. I'll send a direct link here in about 30 minutes. And yeah, tell everybody where they can find you on social medias. And is there anything you want to say before we end the podcast?
I just want to thank you so much for having me be a guest. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And yeah, as social media, I'm at AKA_Camille. And again, thanks for everything that you do. Go get on a bike.
You guys heard it here. Hey, and listen, for all the women out there, if you get turned down, keep applying. Keep applying. You can do it. You got this.
Yep.
Let's go.
Let's
go. Anyway, on that note, we are out of here. We will see you soon. All right, let me end this.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.
All right. That was a lot of fun.